Michael the Bitcoin Chad Saylor sat down with Robert Breedlove, John Vallis, American Hodl, and Erik Cason. Let's get that snazzy cut and then I'll get to what we're talking about. This conversation between these five gentlemen is a little bit more heady. It's got some big ideas in here, and I encourage you to watch the full thing because it helps you understand that Bitcoin isn't solely a monetary idea. It is so much more than that. First up, we've got Erik Cason talking about how the government perpetrates theft on its people constantly. And this is something that is seen as not only correct and right, but by many people, something that is celebrated. When you hold value in Bitcoin, only you have that value. No one, and truly no one, can steal that from you. I'll cut over to Erik now and let him explain it.
Where people have been so convinced that, no, actually, people who want to create wealth and prosperity, these are the greedy people who want to take more for themselves. And the most amazing thing is that inside of that comes the ethical argument of actual direct harm, of saying we have a right to hurt people because they have things that we want. And it's terrifying because that is part of the world that we fundamentally live in today. And to me, what Bitcoin is, it is an ethical assertion saying, not only no longer am I not going to live in this world, I'm going to choose to allocate my wealth into this digital realm. And if you choose to come and bring that violence to me, so be it. However, I want to let you know, you will never, ever get my money.
Before Bitcoin, you could store your wealth in physical things that could be stolen from you. Somebody could come to your land and say, this is ours now, and unless you have a way to defend yourself, you go, okay, I guess so. Or they come to your house and they say, we're taking all of these things because we want them, and if they're using more force than you can use to defend yourself, that's theirs now. Next up, it's John Vallis that touches on the idea of the emergence of the self, the cyber self. Only with the portal that Bitcoin represents can we take physical energy and transport it into the realm of the digital. And John Vallis talks about this a little bit and what it means for you and I as physical, tangible beings.
But it occurs to me that I think what Bitcoin represents actually is the beginning of the self in cyberspace. Yeah. And prior to that, you didn't have that. You had loose associations of who you are in meat space with who you are in cyberspace.
Before the idea of private keys, something that only you had, you could be whoever you wanted. Anybody could be whoever they wanted. You could be one person on Twitter, somebody else in your emails, and somebody else entirely on forums. But once you strap your identity to something that's more concrete, something that is tied to physical energy, something like Bitcoin, then who you are matters so much more. There's weight to your actions, and what you say and do online suddenly matters, which is as it should be, because what you do in the physical space also matters. Next up, we've got Michael Saylor talking about how we don't want more Michael Saylors just yet. What I mean by that is we don't want more ginormous whales just yet. If that were to happen, things would get very wonky very fast, and the normal person, people like you and me, would not be able to get much more, if any more, Bitcoin, and that would not be good.
Everyone that's actually done the work to understand Bitcoin is able to buy Bitcoin right now for $27,000 instead of $270,000. And if the world was rational, it's like I said, when the FDIC embraces Bitcoin and lets banks hold Bitcoin, everybody will want it. No one will want to sell it. You won't be able to afford it.
I'm going to play that part that he said there at the end again, because it is extremely important to understand this.
Like I said, when the FDIC embraces Bitcoin and lets banks hold Bitcoin, everybody will want it. No one will want to sell it. You won't be able to afford it.
We are in a unique position right now. As of mid-May 2023, you can still afford to buy plenty of Bitcoin at a reasonable price. The current exchange rate is almost 4,000 sats per dollar. There is going to be a time in the not so distant future where we look back at days like this and kick ourselves for not selling every last grain of sand in our homes for any amount of pennies that we could have gotten for it, because the price of Bitcoin will be so astronomically high, we will wonder, what were we thinking? We had the knowledge that millions of people across the globe were already adopting Bitcoin, many in places where they needed to use something exactly like Bitcoin because their own currency was collapsing. We had the knowledge that Asian central banks to adopt Iran's SWIFT alternative as de-dollarization accelerates. Quoting from the article, "You needn't be a current target of U.S. sanctions to be attracted to non-dollar trade alternatives. In the face of the American empire's relentless and compulsive use of sanctions to punish non-compliance with its edicts, any rational government would be wary of the possibility of being targeted over some future controversy with Washington." And if you're still one of those people that thinks that the Bitcoin blockchain can be shut down, that Bitcoin can be killed by anyone, any power that be, I need to remind you of something. There's a stat on this page that is extremely important to understand. Can you find it? I'm going to show you it. It's that right there. 17,096 reachable nodes. Why is that number so important? So for a government to shut down Bitcoin, every single of those 17,000 currently reachable nodes would have to be found and destroyed, and they are everywhere on the planet. They might even be in satellites out in space. We don't know where they're all at, but they're not in one place. That's for darn sure. They are, what's the word, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, decentralized.
You always have this one opportunity that Bitcoin promises you that no one else on earth can offer you. No charity will give you this. No government will give you this. No religion will give you this. This one thing I'm going to offer you right now, which is you can take the sum total of everything you accomplished economically in this life. You can buy Bitcoin with it, and then you can take your private keys with you to the grave, and you will have contributed your life energy into a network which is thermodynamically sound, conservative, should reasonably go on for thousands of years, and you will have contributed your life force to every one of your comrades, compatriots, everyone that believed what you believe, everyone that comes after you. You will have made the ultimate legacy bequest to your heirs.
Bitcoin offers a unique opportunity where you can take the totality of your life's efforts, put it into Bitcoin, and then bequeath that to all of humanity, everyone that partakes in Bitcoin. That is something nothing else, as Michael just said, nothing else offers that. My closing message to you is a point that I make in a lot of these clips, and it's this. Bitcoin is so much more than NGU, number go up. If you're the kind of person that is only interested in the price of Bitcoin, I highly suggest you look at it for other reasons. Take interest in more things than just the price. Because to be perfectly honest, the price is the least interesting thing about Bitcoin.